Hey guys, I'm sorry it's been a while since I have been online. I am going to attempt to do a get ready with me and try to explain some of the things that have kind of gone on the last few months. So bear with me. First of all, thank you for the comments, the messages, the texts, all of it. It has been much appreciated, and I have felt them. I disclosed in, I think, the very last video before this one that I had to end up having emergency surgery on my intestines, bowel area. At any rate, since then, I had my grandson in the hospital for fluids. He had got a virus, and it attacked him very seriously. I mean, it made him so dehydrated. It put his kidney levels dangerous, to the point they called it an acute kidney injury. Now, it sounds like, well, how long did this go on before you noticed it and sought help? That day, he was playing, and then he got sick, and he threw up. So they kind of played it by ear. He was acting fine until he wasn't. And then it was a trip or a call to the doctor. And the doctor says, bring him into the children's ED. Brought him to the children's ED. The blood work was not favorable, so they ended up admitting him. There was, before the last blood work, after he got a bolus of fluid, he perked up. I mean, the child went from 0 to 100 flat. So that we thought, okay, he'll get to come home, because they had kind of left it up to my daughter what she wanted to do. And we live like 8-9 minutes away from our hospital, and so and that the pediatrician recognized that and took that into consideration when giving her the option to just go home with him. He seemed to be doing well. He was tolerating fluids. Everything was going good. Well, they ran, one more panel of blood work, and I mean, it was one of those, the doctor is saying, okay, you can start gathering your stuff up. I'm going to go work on his discharge papers. Okay, we assumed that the last round of blood work had came back and was favorable. It wasn't. The physician came in and apologized profusely that she jumped the gun, that this was now not a choice anymore, that he needed to be hospitalized and get these levels back where the doctor was comfortable with. So he was in the hospital for one day, and in the middle of the night his stats started coming up where they should be. Therefore, they let him come home. So that was very positive for us to see. At the time, I am still recovering, but in my mind, I'm like a 97% back to normal. So, you know, again, we think that we're well, but sometimes we're not. You know, we got to listen to our bodies. And after we get him home and we see that, in fact, he's on the mend. I mean, it was amazing to see that shift in just lethargic and then to excited. So a few days later, I get a stabbing pain in my abdomen. I mean, in the center of, I could pinpoint it. So, called my surgeon, because I was like, is this gastro? Is this primary? Is this, the surgeon? And so I called the surgeon first, and they were like, no, you made the right call. This could be post-op complications. And so she was like, no, you don't want to hear this. She said, but I want you to head to the emergency room. If this is something blocking, you're right there, so forth and so on. I was like, alrighty. Not happy about that, but, and I didn't say anything to anyone that I was even going, because I was just like, I'm not dealing with it. Just not going to do it. Sorry. Packed me a little bag with my electronics in it so I could be on my iPad, whatever. And they saw me. I waited for a couple of hours, but it wasn't unpleasant, and it wasn't I didn't get irritated or dissatisfied with the wait time that I had at all. It was a very, I was trying to find my brushes. It was a very suitable time considering what that emergency room looked like. So then, trying to find the right brush, y'all. I'm sorry. So then they admit me. They did a CT to make sure that there was no obstruction or leakage or anything of the sort. That came back good. So that was very, positive to hear that nothing on the CT showed anything. So then the team wanted to do a repeat endoscopy. I was already there in the hospital. What was it going to hurt? So they went in. I went in on a Monday. Monday they did the CT scan. Tuesday they did the endoscopy, and Wednesday I was able to come home. And it was just kind of ruled that I was not as healed as I thought I was. Just because the incisions on the outside were good and not bothering me at all did not mean squat. Really didn't mean anything. I still had the my insides had not quite reached. I'm doing two things at one time. Sorry, I'm trying to find a blush. They kept me. There was no leak. There was no obstruction. All of that came back good. So Wednesday morning they let me go home, which was great. Now, to the third health issue. Oh man, I'm going to go in and use these two, and then I'm going to just use this as a blush topper / highlighter. So I am, recovering from surgery. I'm not uploading. I'm not filming. And the reason why is because my son-in-law gave me his computer. And he's a gamer, so it's a gaming computer. It does everything. It's got a lot of, it's really cool. It's like clear, built in. If I think about it, I'll see if I can record a little video. Of all of this, on a Thursday morning, or Friday morning, maybe 1:30 in the morning, I woke up and my arm was asleep. I was like, oh my God, great. Nuisance at best. Well, I'm going to use the Glamlite Donut Palette for my eyeshadow. When I woke up, again, middle of the night, I was like, daggone it, hand fell asleep. In my mind, that is 100% what happened. I had no strength in my right hand, none. And I said, well, I must have fell asleep on it wrong. I'm going back to bed. Gave it some thought. I'm not going to say that I didn't. However, I did not make a really big deal, so to speak, about it, and I'm just thinking, I'm not going to use this palette. I was just thinking, okay, my whole arm has fell asleep. What can I do? What can I do? I'm going to use my Better Than Chocolate palette from Too Faced. And that's what the inside looks like. Really pretty. This is very high on my list of declutters, along with this one, the Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette. So I don't have any strength in this hand. What I thought was me sleeping wrong has in fact been longer than my arm has had time to wake up, if it were just asleep, or I had slept on it wrong. I've had that before, where I would hurt in my neck and it would be so sore, not painful, but very sore. So I even took a muscle relaxer. It didn't do anything. Today happens to be a Tuesday, and I've called my physician, and we're going to have a virtual appointment here in the next hour. I'm hoping that she can tell me or refer me on what I need to do, because this is no fun. I can't write. I debated whether or not to even do an eye look. If I do, it's going to be something very basic. This is my dominant hand, so I'm going to try to do a little eye look with this. I'm not going to touch my brows or my mascara. Eyes. We'll see how lipstick does. But, so, to begin, I am going to go in with, like, where are my brushes at? I'm going to go in with the shade Bitter Half, which is that shade. So, I think I'm just going to do an eye look with this and not worry about whether or not it can be duplicated. This isn't a tutorial or even a, it is a get ready with me, but it's not a, you know, go grab your makeup brushes and let's get together. Nope. This is sheer desperation because this is the first time I'm actually doing makeup. And I tried the other night. There was no foundation on my face. There was no primer. There was no nothing. I just wanted to see how I could hold the brush. And this is how I'm having to work my arm with this one. That had concerned me. I wonder if you can see that. Yeah. That had concerned me a lot because this is the arm. But this was from the hospital stay. And, I mean, I've got one there. I've got one in the crook of my arm. And they finally did end up getting the line in my arm. That whole situation was just bonkers. And so scary for me. But anyway. So now I am really concerned as to why my arm is like not working, essentially. And I need the use of two hands. A future Jenny here. This is the same day as this video is coming up, and I wanted to kind of give you guys an update. I did have an appointment with my physician, and it was virtual, but she is setting me up with, or getting prior approvals for me to have a CT scan, another one, and an MRI. The CT scan that they took in the hospital of my abdomen did not show, you know, anything above that. And then I had another couple scans of my from the endoscopies, you know. So I thought, well, if they're, you know, if they're CT and this up here, maybe the neck is going to be in it. But she looked at the scans and said that that wasn't an even viable choice. It just showed the abdomen. So my primary care physician is slightly sorry about the shakiness of this. I have tremors today, and the tremors are in this dead hand, so it's just going to be shaky. I'm sorry. But she seems to think that this could be related to my neck, because, so here's where, sorry, let me flip it around. Here's where the pain, God, this thing is so wobbly. The pain is, there's the bruise. The pain is right here on the back side, but it goes all the way down to my fingers. And I don't have, like, I've got it propped up on my belly. I don't have full range of motion. I mean, this isn't just about applying makeup. It's holding anything with this hand. It ain't happening. And that's scary. That is very scary to me. you know, the unknown, I think, is scary for a lot of people. Now I'm gonna go in with that brown, pretty brown right here. So I am waiting now to see what could possibly be wrong with why my arm is doing this. I don't feel like I had a stroke. There was none other than from my arm joint down is and has been affected. My speech is fine. My motor skills are nil with this hand. This one, you know, it's fine. This one, it is not. I can't even write. Oh man, this is just not fun. It's not fun. So I have a lot of things I write during the day. I'm having to use text to talk on my cell phone and make notes so I can go back to those notes, and you know, because I journal, and haven't been able to do that since this arm has wanted to act up. But hand slipped right there until I got a little too much, a little too happy with the brown. Alright, I'm going to clean this up, pop on just a shimmer and a lipstick, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. This is the completed look that I came up with today while I'm telling you guys why I haven't been here. We'll go over the makeup a little bit and then kind of touch on some things. So I used the Revlon, this one, foundation. I enjoy this. This is very super light. Doesn't feel like I have a lot on my face. It is a little bit too light for me, but I think once I put bronzer on that it kind of evens itself out. So I still continue to use this. This is a very nice drugstore foundation. I really do enjoy it. It's very lightweight. For concealer, I used the Dominique Cosmetics concealer that I got out of an Ipsy. I don't care for it as much as the rest of the internet does. I got an incorrect shade. However, it is very cooling. The tip is metal. So you're getting everything that's on that tip. You know, there's not going to be any that pulls off when you pull the applicator out, as it does sometimes with foam tip or whatever doe foots. So I do like this. It is creamy. I can use it like on no makeup days. So I've got it. I'm going to use it, and I just topped it over. I just topped a little bit of foundation. Essence concealer over top of it. What one is this called? The Keep Me Covered concealer. These actually are almost the same color, but this one's a tad bit lighter, so I just placed it on top, blended it out. Then I used my One Size powder. I used my brightening little palette that's, you may can find at TJ Maxx. It was Jaclyn Cosmetics. For my eyes, I did use the majority of products on my eyes from Too Faced Better Than Chocolate palette. I used mostly all of the mattes, or quite a bit of the mattes. I used this all over the lid, and then I used this gold because this shade has a little bit of gold reflex in it, and so I had done it. I was almost complete. I was satisfied. I had already put the yellow in my inner corner, and then I saw this on my desk. This is a ColourPop Super Shock, and the shade, I can't read that shade to save my soul. Let me try. I think I had this problem when I unboxed it. Yeah, Naruto Uzumaki. I can't. It's an anime. I don't. My son-in-law and my grandson are into this. I'm not. The reason that I bought it was so Abby could have, you know, because it was on the box. All this anime stuff was on the box. I was like, you know what? Abby doesn't have that to bond. You know, like daddy and son have this stuff. And so I wanted to give Abby just a little piece of it. So, but she left it over here. But inside, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Let me swatch this. So I used this in the inner corner as well as the first little bit of my lid. Now, for the outer, I did go in to this L'Oreal Infallible, and I had been wanting to play with this. I wanted to do a green look. I'd actually even grabbed this lime green, which is beautiful, but ultimately I decided to go with a little darker. So I'm going to swatch this one as well as the green that I used in this palette. Let's see. I used 2 different fingers. It doesn't have anything on it. Okay, so this one is the Too Faced. And this one is the L'Oreal. There's not that much difference. The L'Oreal has more of a deeper pigment than the Too Faced. And so I just took the L'Oreal and just tapped over the, you know, the tail end of my lid. And it just kind of deepened it a little bit. So I didn't have to go in with another color out of that palette. I just grabbed this. I said, well, you know, let's see what this looks like. And it too has a little bit of the gold reflect. So, and for highlighter, I went in with my Ofra, the shade, this one is Milk and Cookies, and it is by far one of my favorite. So I think that Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer is what I used for my bronzer, and it is, I got it out of this palette that I have. This is the All-Star palette, and it was this shade that I used. And then I did go back and type very lightly into this shade to kind of deepen just that a little bit. For blush, I used that Smashbox palette, that bulky thing. It's awkward. It doesn't fit face up in a drawer, face down if you gotta have a big drawer. So I really don't play with it that much. So, and then of course the highlighter was Ofra. The lips, I felt like once my makeup was on, I'm like, this is giving me fall feels. You know, it may be the fall colors in my backdrop, I don't know. But I think with a green eye, this burgundy color, I really enjoyed this color. And it is from L'Oreal and is the part of the Color Riche line. And this is in the shade, I think it says Spiced Cider. Let me get a better look. Yeah, 755 Spiced Cider. And that's what that looks like. So beautiful. I'll swatch it on my hand. It is absolutely emollient and creamy. I don't wear a lip liner when I wear this lipstick. It feels more like a balm than it does an actual bullet lipstick. I enjoy it. I'm not complaining. So, I hope that I can get some answers with this hand that I'm not at full strength of. If not, we'll go and adjust to whatever we need to adjust to. Again, thank you all so very much for reaching out and for just all the good things that you guys have sent my way in terms of, you know, well wishes and prayers and good vibes, all of it. I really do. I feel it. It's just been a very rough couple of months, but I'm still standing. I still have beautiful children. I have beautiful grandchildren, one on the way. I have this beautiful life. So, instead of dwelling on the what ifs or the should have done this or should have done that, I'm just going to be happy in the moment. So, as always, be beautiful, be kind, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. These are the eyes up close.